Rosé and red wine are essentially made in the same way at the beginning of their process. So red wine is from red grapes that are collected, harvested, and then begin fermentation. During that fermentation, if you want to make a rosé, you draw off the juice, and so it isn't as coloured as a red wine. You may do that after 3, 6, 12 hours or more. So the various colour pigments haven't had a chance to be extracted fully as they would be in a red wine. Red wines are macerated, as it's called. The grapes and the juice are in contact with each other for a lot longer than with a rosé. So you can consider rosé as being made on the way to being a red wine. The choice between screw cap and cork and other non-cork closures is mainly one of personal preference. There are certain wine producers who prefer cork and prefer the performance of a cork. There are many others, and an increasing number, who prefer non-cork closures, whether they be screw caps or other closures, perhaps even a technical or agglomerate cork. The biggest problem with some corks, and this is a problem that's actually decreasing now, is that they can throw a taint, trichloroanisole, or TCA as it's known, which ruins the wine. This depends on the wine. I would say if it's an oily, not particularly fruity white wine, put the cork back in or draw the air out of it using a vacuum pump and pop it in the fridge, and you can still drink it a couple of days later. Red wines, less so. They tend to lose their vibrancy and character, and they're more obviously different after a day or two. What I would say is with many red wines, you can treat them like white wines, vacuum pump them, or maybe put the cork back in, pop them in the fridge for a day or so, and that improves their chances of still being good to drink. Obviously, take them out the fridge a couple of hours before you're due to drink them. It's a personal preference. Champagne is a bottle fermented sparkling wine, so it's made as a base wine, a still wine, and then re-fermented in bottle, as are many other sparkling wines around the world, including high-quality English sparkling wine. Champagne is just different from Prosecco. It's very different from Cava. Not so much in its manufacture. Many top-quality Cavas are made in precisely the same way as Champagne. Prosecco largely is not. It's made using a different process, so it's a matter of choice and price. It's largely down to climate, but it's also down to the psyche or the mentality of the people making the wine. So you find in the old world, climatically, on the whole, it's cooler than much of the new world. In the new world, the climates are generally warmer. Think Australia, think South Africa, think Argentina and Chile. These can be mitigated by altitude and planting close to the ocean. However, New World wines tend to be fuller, lower in acidity, fruitier, as a fairly basic rule of thumb. Old World wines tend to be more restrained, higher in acidity usually, but there are many variables. But if you can look at this as being a confluence of climate and the mentality of the winemaker. It most definitely is. Our best-selling wine is our good ordinary claret at £9 a bottle. And there are many other wines that you can buy out in the marketplace, whether from supermarkets or independent merchants, from specialist merchants, that are under £10 a bottle. If you go, in my experience, much below about £6.50 or £7 a bottle UK retail, then it's quite difficult to find something with real character. But you can still find an enjoyable bottle of wine.